Welcome back, ladies and gents, to Lenovo Legion of Champions, brought to you by both Lenovo and Intel. Of course, we're going to be heading into Game 2, but before we do so, we're going to be introducing ourselves as the casters for today. I'm Mark, the Caddy Service Fam, and with me is Chisto. And what a game that we had earlier. I mean, I think one of the exciting things for me was that we finally get to see Zoe competitive in a broadcasting game on a local level, but didn't quite work out for Espionage there, though.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. That game was very, very exciting and kind of shifted towards the one-sided during the later parts of the game. Once Red Light began pulling the trigger earlier, they were able to set up for these kills, get these aces, really clutch wins in team fights, which just transitioned into objectives. And what I could say is just textbook League of Legends.
Indeed, and at the end of the day, of course, ladies and gents, this is a best of 3, so we are technically at match point right now, wherein if Red Light goes one more game, then we have our reps right there. But then, of course, in Espionage's case, that's something that they don't want to give up, especially considering what is at stake here. But of course, we'll be heading into the pick and ban phase once again. This is Red Light versus Espionage in the finals for the Lenovo Legion of Champions.
Yeah, we are going to switch sides now, so that's a bit of strategy shifted from both teams. I wonder, what will both teams adjust to? How will they adapt to this next game? Will Espionage put a red light on Red Light's advantage?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, let's go ahead and check out the bans, though. So, for the bans coming in from Red Light, we do have Singe as well as the Ornn. Meanwhile, for Espionage, going to be taking away that Jin from Reforms.
Yeah, I have no surprise that Red Light are banning these champions. If they go the same route as the previous game, I do believe Jace was the third ban coming from them. I wouldn't be surprised to see that come out, but for Espionage, already banning out the bot lane of Red Light. This is the exact bot lane duo we saw last game, not wanting to deal with that. Oh, it is a Shen actually.
Wow, there you go. So interesting, a lot of focus on Kyler here from Espionage. Let's go ahead and check out what that last ban will come from. Espionage, though, I mean, okay, so the Leona going to be taken away from Clyde right there. Let's go ahead and check out what picks will be thrown out. Red Light on the blue side going to be having much more priority as far as what they want to go for in this first pick. Looks like we do see a hover over that Chase, not just a hover over, but that will be a lock.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Red Light opts to toss just 3 bans all the way to Kyler, because during that previous game, we saw Kyler absolutely smash lane. Unfortunately, the Renekton pick just didn't transition that well into team fights compared to the Gnar. With that being said, Red Light will put all their priority onto this Jace. We normally see him in the top lane, but he can be flexed. I mean, we've seen Jace in many funky places before. We can see him jungle, possibly AD carry, but more commonly in the solo lane.
True. Meanwhile, coming in from the side of Espionage, interesting enough, looks like they're going to be taking the Varus as well as the Jarvan the Fourth. I would say that normally, based on what we have seen, Jarvan the Fourth could possibly go jungle as well as the Varus, but okay, so it looks like the Syndrome going to be hovered over. But I mean, in Espionage's case, they do like to flex these champions in very interesting lanes, so I wouldn't discount that Jarvan could potentially go top just yet.
Yeah, and looking at what Red Light has locked in, very cool lock-ins. They've locked in 2 dragons. I like dragons very much. But with that being said, Shyvana in the jungle, like the previous game, I did mention she does benefit off of press the attack very well if she's able to stay long enough in these team fights. Once she gets these items, this durability, if she's able to stick to your AD carries during fights, she's just really a pain to deal with. And Aurelion Sol, a pick we see, it's a pocket pick really from most mid laners. We all know Aurelion Sol has very potent roams. He can move around the map fairly quickly, deals a lot of damage, and yeah, Aurelion Sol.
Really excited for that. I mean, we don't really see that much Aurelion Sol, even here locally. I mean, like you mentioned, it's definitely a pocket pick, and
very few people actually play. I do recall from NALCS, CLG's Huhi, he's the only player I do believe plays Aurelion Sol frequently, and looks like Margaret will try to do his best cosplay.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, man. Meanwhile, coming in for the bans here within our second rotation, looks like the Kalista as well as the Alistar going to be banned out here from Bronze and Clyde here. So, wow, Renekton and Maokai. So 5 top lane bans from Red Light, particularly dedicated to Kyler here. So, yeah, they really don't want to give him any pick that will allow him to just pop off.
Yeah, but mind games. What if the Jarvan goes to the top lane?
True.
That's 5 rather mispointed bans, I should say, if they do flex the Jarvan. With all these picks locked in from Espionage, they still have that option. They're going to wait what Red Light will round off their comp with. They do need that bot lane, they need an AD carry and support. As for Espionage, they need either a jungler or a top laner, depending on where they opt to put the Jarvan.
Let's go ahead and see, though. Meanwhile, looks like Thresh, again, locked in for Sunzi right there. Misfortune, as well as the Taric. There you go. Interesting Red Light. I mean, if you're going to look at the order as to how they picked, it's not even a scenario wherein they didn't prioritize.
It's all business.
Yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. Like, every single person locked in based on their role here. Unless we see some crazy switcheroos, which I highly doubt, though. So let's go ahead and check out, ooh, for Espionage, though, just as I was about to bring up. Camille, indeed.
Yeah, but even as Camille locked in, it can still be a flex pick, but I do believe Kyler will be locking that pick down. Camille, one of those picks that can deal with the Jace as far as 1v1 during the split push phase. We all know Jace can bully melee matchups, but Camille, she has enough survivability, enough gap close to lock down the Jace, and can one of those champions really just 1v1 Jace in the top lane.
So there you have it, folks. It's like both sides have locked in what they want. Of course, from wherever you're watching, let us know who you want to see win as our champion and potential representative for Bangkok as soon as we get to send them over. So, of course, it's going to be Red Light or Espionage in which case.
Yeah, and Red Light, they're already 1 foot to the airport.
1 foot, yeah, true.
They're already headed there, but I wonder, can Espionage fight back? This is a best of 3, and a lot of things can happen in best of 3s. The pressure of closing out the series can get to some of the players. Let's hope that Red Light, they don't make that error and just closes out.
Definitely not. But then again, as you were able to discuss with Vulcan earlier, I mean, these two teams, they have some form of experience in a way. So for Red Light, more of LCL talents, League of Legends Collegiate League, another league that's powered by Lenovo. And for Espionage, has that PGS experience, at least some of the players, in the form of Endless Ace, Sunzi, as well as MKit, who used to play for Mineski.
So, and IPT, I believe.
IPT, yeah, actually, most recently IPT. So I think, but then again, as you can see earlier, that experience not necessarily translating to going straight into a win, regardless of having that upper hand as far as league, where in Espionage, more professional experience, whereas for Red Light, it's more of a semi-pro through the collegiate league.
Yeah, but still, like we mentioned earlier, it's still the same competition. It's still League of Legends that is the proving grounds for both of these teams, really. And I wonder, will the more seasoned experience, I should say, since it's the pro scene compared to collegiate, will that be the edge that Espionage needs to push them forward? Because these more seasoned players, they can really be that guiding light for the younger ones and really help them progress, especially during these best of series where it can be very mentally and physically exhausting.
And it's an interesting point that you brought there, because I was actually looking back on what has transpired as of our local scene in the recent. And if you're going to look at most of the players that are up and coming, we have a lot of fresh talent. And there's been a lot of these more veteran players who have started to go into retirement. So I think from that point, we could kind of say that we are reaching a point wherein we're seeing more talent enter the scene. And I think that's what's happening right here. Red Light, with the roster that they have, there's a lot of fresh talent there. Wherein, sure, Espionage, there's definitely some good talent as well, a lot of experience, but then again, could potentially wear down in time. So I hope that's not a case, though, because this, especially for this finals, there's a lot at stake. I mean, that road to compete on the international stage, as Endless Ace mentioned in this interview, that's quite a thing. So we'll just have to see. Espionage, they definitely want to push this into a 1-1, hopefully, for them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you right there, Arctic. Competing on an international stage, especially in the semi-pro scene, that's a very rare opportunity for anyone, really, and any player to fly overseas, compete, play League of Legends. It's going to be such a fun experience for them. And I know all of these players competing right now, they're gunning for that win.
Oh, man. I mean, that opportunity right there. I think that's probably one of the biggest things you could check off your bucket list as far as wanting to be a competitive player.
Yeah, you've checked that off your bucket list.
Yep, check right there. But kind of short-lived in the sense that, sure, made it to international, but actually performing in international, well,
that's a different story.
Yeah, definitely a different story right there. But given our representatives here, I have high hopes for them without a doubt. I mean, if I recall last year, our previous representatives, Rebirth.
RBT? Yeah,
Yeah,
Rebirth.
RBT. They actually did pretty well. I think they placed third. So
Very well.
yeah, definitely. I think that in itself just shows just how much of a chance Philippines has as far as making it on the international stage.
Yeah, and it also shows you how much the esports scene here has been improving throughout the years. I mean, for the record though, we have been constantly getting better, constantly improving, really trying to make Southeast Asia a region that can compete with the juggernauts that are Korea, China, and the gap is closing, I should say.
Definitely. And man, it's crazy to think that we're finally reaching that
closing.
stage.
I have faith.
You have faith. You have faith. And who knows? Hopefully, our teams right here, the talents that we see right now, could forge that path for us as they head to the international stage. Because that's what one of these teams will be achieving towards the end of that day. That's the end goal here for the Legion of Champions. But we'll just have to see. Still, they have this best of 3 to work against. And in Espionage's case, they want to make sure that they still keep themselves in the running wall for Red Light. Just that one more win, and who knows? That dream will become a reality for one of these teams.
Yeah, as for what they have to do once the game starts, I think for Espionage, they need to begin playing more proactively, try and pull the trigger before Red Light sets anything up against them. Because during that last game, you saw Red Light just be first to the punch. Their attacks were landing first compared to Espionage, where they were more of the reactive team. And in competitive League of Legends, what you really want to do is be the aggressor, be the proactive team, make these moves, generate your own leads. Don't wait for your opponents to make mistakes, and that's what Red Light did, and that's why they won the first game.
I think one great thing that we could talk about here while we wait to head on to the Rift is, like I mentioned earlier, that was the first time we actually get to see Zoe in a competitive game locally. How do you feel Endless Haze performed on that Zoe, based on what insight you've managed to get so far? Because there's not really much to build off on thus far, as far as seeing Zoe in competitive.
Yeah, I think he performed fairly well on Zoe, given that she is the newest champion in League. Some players might need more time to pick that up.
And from what I hear, because I haven't gotten the chance to play Zoe myself, but I heard that she's a pretty mechanically difficult champion to maneuver on.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see, though, later on once we head into the Rift.
Ay, ako nga pala si Adrian, Liana Brancia, jungle ng Team Red Light. Nalaman namin yung tournament na Legion of Champions sa Facebook dahil gusto namin sumali sa mga tournament na ganito. Di naman namin na-expect na darating kami sa finals, pero nandito na kami. Ipatunayan na namin na may magaling pa sa Visayas. Yung team ko may experience naman sa mga local tournaments. Kaya ngayon may opportunities kami na makapaglaro sa ibang bansa. Magandang opportunities itong Legion of Champions kasi online qualifier siya at malaki yung chance ng team namin, Red Light, na makapaglaro sa Thailand. Sa mga taga Iloilo, Tony.
And there you have it, folks. Let's go ahead and see, as history is made right here, as to find out who will be the Philippine representatives to the Lenovo Legion of Champions. Is it going to be Red Light or Espionage? Let's head on to the Rift for Game 2.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting to watch this game. I mean, we have to take note how the junglers will decide to move around the map. And whoa, Red Light, another aggressive invade.
Indeed, we'll get spotted out by that ward, though. Great preemptive move by Espionage to make sure that they have defensive vision to avoid that pretty gutsy move by Red Light. But that will be thwarted for the meantime. They will be going back to their standard lanes. But in the midst of that, Espionage was able to establish offensive vision of their own towards the red buff of Red Light. So I like that responsiveness to seeing that there were 5 members leaning towards the top side for Red Light. Espionage immediately establishing their own vision right there.
Yeah, so now as the junglers begin their pathing, I think it's going to be very critical for MKit to perform during the early game on this Jarvan, really try and get his team ahead, because he's going to be the key factor if Espionage wants to mount a comeback.
Now looks like that will be the start. Take note, both junglers are starting off towards the bottom side of the map. So that will make for an interesting transition towards mid or top, depending on what they go for as far as rotations. Interesting to note, for itemization, looks like Margaret going to be going for the Corrupting Potion on this Aurelion Soul in the midst of a Doran's Ring for Endless Ace.
Yeah, and the Corrupting Pot start on Aurelion Soul is a very common strategy where you do is just constantly shove your lane, try to chug that potion as much as possible. Then once you shove your lane, you go back, you pick up your Doran's Ring, and you just get so much more of an advantage over your enemy laner because Aurelion Soul, he just moves so fast across the map. He's able to glide across Summoner's Rift.
Now that I think about it, I mean, we have both Espionage and Red Light. I mean, I was mentioning how Espionage, they kind of like, as far as from what I've seen in the past, they like to play these interesting picks where you normally think it wouldn't work, but somehow they make it work. But I think the same can be said for Red Light in the sense that, like you mentioned, these are guys from Iloilo. And if you're going to think about Iloilo, you're going to think about teams like Acclaim, Empire X. And even in the LCL, these players, they're known for using these crazy picks you normally wouldn't think would even be fielded, but because of how proficient they are at their champion, or because of how well they manage to go about their strategy and their win conditions, are able to make it work. So I think these are two very interesting teams that we have here that kind of play to that same dynamic. But overall, from what we've been seeing as far as what they've drafted, I'd kind of say that they're still pretty much more in tune with the meta. But we do see these interesting picks every now and then, like Zoe's Endless Ace earlier. Now we're seeing Margaret's Aurelion Soul.
Yeah, I have to agree with you right there, Arctic. Besides, they definitely have that own flavor as far as what they want to pick as their champions. But right now, yeah, you did mention we are seeing pretty standard picks from both teams. It's just a matter of how they decide to play around these picks.
Meanwhile, looks like topside for Good Boy really getting a push out here onto Kyler. It's like Sunzi taking quite a bit of damage though from Clyde. So we'll have to take a little bit of a chill pill right there, restrain himself just a bit.
Sunzi, he has to be very careful in this lane because he doesn't have the option to heal himself, whereas Tarek does. But oh, Margaret is rolling with the flash.
That's going to be the stun onto Sunzi right there. Here comes Margaret. That's going to be first blood going to Clyde in the blink of an eye. Sunzi goes down.
Yeah, what a great flash dazzler coming from the Tarek, able to lock down Sunzi, and the heal not enough to save him. Very well played from Red Light's bot lane, taking charge.
And that is how you play the Aurelion Soul as well right there. That's what I love about this champion. You have a lot of roaming potential through his E, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm expecting a lot more of that coming in from Margaret.
Oh, like, he is spotted.
Meanwhile, MKit gonna try to make a move here. Looks like we'll be backing away for the meantime.
Yeah, very hard for Jarvan to set up a gank in the bot lane with Sunzi being in base just after respawn. He needs that Thresh lockdown. He needs a death sentence if he wants to set up for the gank, because without Ward spotting him out, bot lane for Red Light will just instantly back off. Very smart play.
Kyler gonna dive in right there onto Good Boy though, but knocks him away to prevent any further aggression. Looks like Margaret was gonna make his way though. Let's see if Makulit could try for something here towards topside. Looks like he is gonna go for the gank. Good Boy, take note, he doesn't have any mana. Force to flash away, and that will prompt Makulit to recall for the meantime, seeing that there's no opportunity for a further gank.
Yeah, a very, very early flash there from Good Boy, just not wanting to deal with any more aggression from Espionage. And with a flash being down, we all know what that means. It's just painting a target on your back, calling the enemy jungler to come gank my lane again. But with that being said,
wow,
Infernal Drake being started by Red Light. Very proactive move.
That's a very juicy objective. Meanwhile, looks like Kyler going to go in onto Good Boy. Good Boy's taking quite a bit of damage there. He might be going down. Makulit manages to secure the kill.
Yeah, but at what cost, Arctic? That one kill onto the flashless just very textbook gank, but it does give up the Infernal Drake over to the side of Red Light, and that is massive for their team comp. That's just going to help them scale even better and just deal insane amount of damage during the next upcoming team fights.
Indeed, as Freak likes to say, tons of damage right there for Red Light. But overall, let's go ahead and see how that'll work out for them, because if you're going to look at Red Light's composition, there's generally everybody, with the exception of the Tarek, of course, who's a tank. But, I mean, Jace, Shyvana, Aurelion Soul, Misfortune, these are guys that dish out quite a bit of damage. So that Infernal Dragon, that's going to complement them greatly.
Yeah, and you did mention, even though Tarek is the only tank, that Cosmic Radiance will buy so much time for these carries to just dish out absurd amounts of damage given that invulnerability. And That's just a great team fight too, and whoa, great counter jungling coming from the Shyvana, but he is a bit caught out here.
Oh no, is he going to make it out alive though? That's going to be Hextech ultimatum to lock him down. Here comes Makulit though. Looks like Liana going to manage to flash his way out in time. That was so scary.
But what a great clutch. Great timing on the flash just as the Hextech ultimatum timed out. Instantly gets out of trouble, and by the skin of his teeth, Liana survives.
I was not expecting that. I was thinking that was going to be game over for Liana right there, but just at that right second, manages to flash his way out as soon as that Camille ult goes down. So, looks like we're going to still be seeing our kill board 1-1 equal still.
Yeah, the game is still fairly even at this stage, but looking at how the teams have decided to play, it looks like Espionage are trying to get Kyler ahead. During that previous game, we saw Kyler get ahead, but we know that Renekton doesn't work well in team fights. I wonder, how will Kyler perform on this Camille? The members of Red Light are fairly immobile. There are no dashes on Aurelion Sol and Misfortune. They're going to have to rely a lot on Tarek to protect them. And Kyler, he does have that Camille ultimate to lock down these immobile squishy targets.
Look at Liana go. I mean, after almost defying death towards the jungle side of Espionage, goes straight back, manages to steal the red buff from Makulit, and man, oh man, really good showing here, I gotta say, Liana. And if you're gonna notice, I mean, it's not really much to look at CS differences between junglers, but in this case, yeah, that's huge. I mean, regardless of the fact that, sure, some camps may have more creeps than others, but I mean, since we're this early on into the game and to have that much of a difference, that's pretty significant right there.
Yeah, and I think that stems from the priorities between junglers. We saw Makulit, he's trying to get his team ahead, but when you gank as a jungler, that does mean that your camps are left wide open for the take. And Liana, he's been prioritizing counter jungling, trying to get as much gold as possible onto the Shyvana, and that's really what Shyvana needs if she wants to be relevant throughout the game, and he's just working towards that goal fairly quickly.
Anyway, let's go ahead and check out what's happening across these lanes, though. I think, now that I notice, almost everyone, with the exception of that Aurelion Sol, across the board for Red Light is up in CS. I mean, top lane just around equal, but 80-61 between Clyde and Hunts here on this Varus. So that's another substantial difference that we're seeing here. Not to mention, Clyde is a kill up, so...
Ooh, look at the damage from the bounce. Jeez.
And now that I realize, technically, if you're going to think about it, since LaFrance is running that item that wherein he gets a takedown on a minion, manages to share that gold with Clyde, that's not just 86 CS. You could also pair that up with whatever LaFrance got on this Tarek. So
yeah, quick maths.
Yeah, indeed. Man, that's crazy. And I think it's clearly now. Oh, look at Liana, though. Looks like going to get collapsed onto 3 members of Espionage, though. Liana's trying to run this out. Here comes LaFrance, though, to support his teammate. That's going to be that.
Ooh,
3-man stun onto the members of Espionage. They managed to take down Makulit, Sunzi, and Endless Ace. They're trying to run this out, and down he goes. That will be 3 members of Espionage collapsed on as Red Light wins that fight right there.
Oh my, that stun was absolutely amazing coming from the Tarek. Really well played. They're locking down 3 members. Such an insane show of mechanics.
Man, oh man, great response there coming in from Red Light. Just when you think that Liana is about to get fully collapsed by Espionage, the rest of Red Light make their way to respond, and that just played out beautifully. If you're going to look at the difference right now, Red Light now up 3,500 almost in CS with a 4-1 lead. This is going to be big for them.
Now look at the amazing dazzle here. This is a dazzling play, Arctic. It was chained as well into all of Aurelion Sol's damage. The stun from his star, his ultimate as well, and there's really nothing Espionage can do to respond from that much well-executed of a combo.
Man, that was crazy, and it's like all the right elements as far as Red Light's composition just pretty much played out in that fight, and it's just a beauty to witness right there. Let's go ahead and see, though. Red Light, definitely a great start for them. They have a great potential to potentially build up on this lead that they have right now, but Espionage, you can't discount them just yet. We have yet to see. There's still a lot of elements that they could work with to get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, like Tarek says, it doesn't hurt to be beautiful in battle, but it looks like there will be a slight 1v1 in the top lane.
Indeed, good boy gonna be
soon to be a 2v1.
Margaret, though, slowly making his way. Let's go ahead and see.
Sliding.
Oh, he's going to glide his way in there. Kyler going to try to make an escape, gets stunned. We'll be getting a bit of damage there from Margaret, but still nothing that particularly leads to securing a kill.
Yeah, no ultimate there for the Aurelion Sol. Not going to be able to lock down the Camille any longer, but if he did get in trouble, Kyler did have his flash, so he was pretty safe right there.
Looks like we won't be seeing anything. Looks like Endless Ace going to deal a bit of damage there onto the turret. Will make up for lost grounds here. Margaret just making his way back to lane there, dodging around the Dark Spirits. Meanwhile, taking out Mahulit, and Sunzi will get spotted out by that ward though, so looks like that won't lead to any successful gains for Espionage.
Yeah, did you see Margaret there fancy flying, just dodging out every sphere that Endless Ace tossed at him?
Yeah, that was pretty styling, man.
I mean, beauty never hurts.
Not at all.
Just like Tarek said.
Yeah, and it's really shown for Red Light, I gotta say. Meanwhile, looks like Red Light gonna try to go for their second dragon of the game. Let's go ahead and see if Espionage could contest this. Not that I see any actions that would lead to it being contested, though. So, I mean, Liana, though. It's like, we'll spot out Sunzi. Look at the damage, though. Sunzi trying to walk it. That's going to be Siobhan into Dragon form. We'll walk away, though, seeing that Hans was going to go for the response. Blast his way out of there, and that will be Dragon secured. Mission accomplished. Red Light.
Yeah, Liana doing the zoning duty right there. Really no real challenge coming from Espionage as far as that Dragon goes. Very well played there by Red Light. But, whoa, Kyler.
Wow, finally we do see a successful gang coming in. Looks like Margaret, though, will find a bit of a treat here. Will try to go for Kyler. Manages to slow him down. Will he manage to secure the kill, though? No, that won't be the case as Kyler walks away scot-free.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, looks like that's going to be the route onto Liana, though. Hunt's forced to pop his ultimate in order to make sure that he avoids imminent death.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you give up this much farm onto that Shyvana. Already double the CS of the Jarvan. And like I mentioned, once Shyvana gets gold, she becomes very relevant throughout all the stages of the game. He's going to be a very impressive jungler. And right now, Espionage, they aren't able to set up around because of the deficit created by their jungler.
Well, Liana just continuing to style his way onto the camps of Lit here, still maintaining that half of a difference, 102 to 46. That's more than half, actually, now that I do the proper math.
Oh.
Liana actually going to get spotted out by that ward there. We'll have to walk away.
That's very scary for support, trying to face check versus defend Sejuani, but realistically, what choice does Sunzi have? He's the only source of vision for his team. He needs to set up, but he needs the support from his team. They need to group up, prevent these picks from happening, because if Espionage want to come back in this game, they have to come online soon.
And what's tricky here is that as far as coming online, there's a lot of elements that they have to try to work around with here. If you notice, I think what's a pretty telling sign where an Espionage tool has a lot to work on is, whoa, look at this, Liana and Margaret, though. I'll have to hold my thought right there as Hunt will get converged on by two mighty blue dragons chasing him down. That will be a hold there, and boom, Margaret secures the kill.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just a lone archer, there's really nothing you can do versus two massive dragons, and I like the color scheme synergy coming from Red Light. Both of them blue dragons. Whoa, Clans, will they be able to take out Tarek?
But meanwhile, looks like Claw's going to be walking this way. Ultimate coming in from Clyde, dealing a bit of damage there. But yeah, Color is looking really well for Red Light there. But I mean, beyond the point though.
Yeah, they got a synergy. They even work well with the Tarek.
Yeah, and Tarek's blue as well. So I guess blue's the color for Red Light, amidst being Red Light, technically.
Yeah, kind of weird synergy right there. It is working in their favor though. They just work. Yeah.
Indeed. Meanwhile, looks like Sunzi. This is what I'm talking about right here, though. This is one of the troubles that Espionage has. Looks like that's going to be another collapse onto good boy Makulit. Goes straight in for the Cataclysm, and he secures the kill. Checklist for Espionage complete.
Yeah, and that's one of the bright spots right now, really, for Espionage. They're playing around this top side very well because they know they can go for this kill, but whoa, Makulit!
Oh, stun not connecting onto Makulit there, but he'll be going down. Margaret not needed as he glides his way there. Rift Herald is up for the taking, though. This could be a juicy objective for them to siege.
Okay, but looking back, I said that the bright spot for Espionage is they have Kyler ahead on this Camille. If Jace doesn't snowball in lane, it takes him time to become relevant again. And for Camille, she needs to translate her lead in lane to her teammates. She needs to set up her team if they want any hope of coming back. But right now, Red Light, they're just pushing the tempo, constantly trying to look for these fights, constantly taking these objectives all across the map, and the Rift Herald as well, going over to their side. There's just so much more pushing potential coming from Red Light.
And this is absolutely insane. 2 turrets to nothing in comparison to Espionage. But yeah, let's go ahead and touch on what advantage Espionage has. Like you mentioned, they could work on what Kyler has managed to establish as far as shutting down Good Boy there through the efforts of him and Makulit. But at the same time, one thing that Espionage has to battle with is that if you're going to look at the builds across the board, everybody gearing towards damage as well, with the exception of that threshold for Sunzi. But then again, I think the thing that Sunzi struggles with as well is that since there's a lot of damage across the board for Red Light, and if you're going to look at his itemization, nothing that particularly leads him to actually dealing with that damage as far as either magic resist or armor. And that kind of showed itself earlier when he got collapsed on by Liana, wherein just a few bites from that Shyvana just manages to shred him down. So that's another thing that Espionage has to battle with until such time that they have a better reliable front line for Sunzi.
Yeah, I think you're correct right there, Art. It's very hard for support given that you get the least gold in most of these games. It's very hard to itemize defensively. You're just going to be locked down in trying to set up vision, and that's really what Espionage have to do. They do have a lot of pick potential. They're going for something now, but whoa!
Sunzi does not get to connect on that hook. Will play
He's very aggressive.
members of Red Light in, though that's going to be a full stun onto Liana, but Margaret manages to take down Hunt. Looks like the rest of Espionage, they're going to try to back away. Here comes Skylar, though.
Oh, he
Will try to
survived!
do something. Liana actually manages to survive, though, and looks like we might be seeing more of a fight, though. Good Boy gets
What
the
a
snipe
snipe!
onto Sunzi. That will be Endless Ace, stunning him away from further pursuit, but that will end in a 2-0 in favor of Red Light.
Yeah, oh my, the Tarek does so much work during these little skirmishes. The Cosmic Radiance saves Liana, saves the Shyvana from dying. Just one more shot would have killed him, but like I said, the Tarek, the invulnerability coming from his ultimate comes in the clutch for Red Light. And with that being said, they're gonna barrel down the mid lane and take down 2 towers. And this game is just
Spiraling out of control, man.
yeah, I know.
Let's go ahead and check out the replay, though.
This is such an aggressive move by Espionage. They know they need to pull the trigger soon. They need to go for a fight. Even though they're able to see Shane Liana for days, the Cosmic Radiance comes in right at the moment he needed it. And he's able to survive with just a sliver of health, stacking through every bit of damage that Espionage can throw at him.
Oh man, and it's so crazy. It's crazy how not only did Liana manage to survive, but boom, that snipe! So beautiful. 10 out of 10 right there. I don't know where that accent came from, but 8-3 right now. Let's go ahead and check out the goal difference, though. This is what we've been talking about a lot in previous games, wherein once we usually see a team hit past that 10k gold lead, there's no turning back for them as far as establishing that lead. But looks like, take note, Red Light, they might be going for this Baron. Let's go ahead and see.
Very quick. They have a Blood Razor Shyvana. Will they opt to start this? They do. Espionage.
We're going to start. Let's go ahead and see if
Just
Espionage
make her
can go
break.
for the steal. There's a lot of pressure here for Makulit to try to get the steal on it.
Miracles do happen.
Will that miracle happen for Espionage, though, man? Let's go ahead
Will
and
Red
see.
Light risk the 50-50? They
Margaret
need to zone out the Jarvan.
Done. That's going to be a lot of damage up to Makulit.
got him.
He goes down. Liana getting the kill. Kyler's going to be the next to fall.
Baited.
As well as stuns. Looks like that will be the full decimation onto the members of Espionage. Endless Ace, the only surviving member. It looks like Red Light going to go take this Baron quite happily.
What a smart decision by Red Light. They're peeling for the fight. They go off of the Baron, and with 4 members down for Espionage, there is no contest. This is such a free Baron for Red Light. Great show of macro and great awareness right there. Going for the fight. They knew they could take it.
And this is it, Chisto. This is what I'm talking about right here. We've hit past that 10k goal difference between Red Light and Espionage. This is going to be big for Red Light. I feel like unless Espionage is able to hold their ground and get a full defense on, then this might be so tricky for them, because this could eventually lead to what could be a game finisher. But then again, it's all comes down to how Red Light plays out the next few minutes, and as well as how Espionage is able to go on the defense.
Yeah, there was a pause though. I wonder what that was, but we will be getting back into that very shortly. But looking back at the previous fight, what a smart decision by Red Light. Great awareness, because at this stage of the game, being that far ahead, they know they can take any fight. And given that they were pressuring Espionage into face checking the Baron, if Espionage don't challenge that, the Red Light will just run away with the game. And if they do manage to steal it, it might be the stall, but wisely enough, Red Light not risking the 50-50. They hop over the wall, take down the jungler, and just clean up the rest of the fight.
Great turnaround right there indeed. Instead of focusing on the Baron, just switching targets right there, and worked out for them in the end. So
It worked out very well.
very well indeed. I mean,
You could say they put a red light on Espionage advances towards the Baron.
I see what you did there. But of course, ladies and gents, for those of you that have just tuned in, you guys are watching the Lenovo Legion of Champions, brought to you by Lenovo as well as Intel. Of course, we are your casters right now. I'm Mark Tiketi Service Fam. With me is Chisto, and you guys are watching Game 2 between Red Light and Espionage, our two finalists to determine who will become the Philippine representative to head to Bangkok soon.
And like you mentioned, during gold leads in these games, you mentioned once the 10k mark hit, it's very hard for teams to come back. And yeah, I have to agree with you on that point. During the Runes Reforged change, it has been extremely harder for teams to stall out games. The scaling, the snowballing has come even faster for teams, and without any of these defensive runes coming out, it's very hard for your tanks to get to that point where you can stall out games for maybe 40-50 minutes, because there's been a trend where games end just around the 30-35 minute mark.
We'll just have to see, though. I'm not sure how that's going to be going down later on, but still, what's really interesting here is that I think this is a tad bit of a different tempo than what we saw during Game 1, in the sense that Red Light a lot more convincing in this game, without a doubt. And I guess that pressure, definitely not feeling the pressure from getting that one win, you know, just, if anything, from what I'm seeing, from how they've been playing it, just boosted their confidence all the more.
Yeah, and that's a really big factor in these best-of series, whether it's a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, you name it. Having confidence on your side, having that momentum, especially coming out of a rather convincing Game 1 win, that could really be the edge that you need in order to close out these matches.
And I'm really raring to get back into that game later, but
Same.
Of course, you know, we're just gonna have to hold off a bit. We're just checking in on a little bit of tweaking on the player's side, but don't worry guys, we'll get back into the action real quick. We're just waiting for everyone to get settled, make sure everything's good to go. So yeah,
Will Espionage mount a comeback?
man, I'm really hoping for Game 3 though, just so that things are a little bit more intense. But then again, of course, in Red Light's case, of course, I want to go 2-0. Why not go for a clean sweep right there to end up the perfect day?
A tricky bias right there, Arctic, but if Espionage do want to come back, it's going to be a huge mountain for them to climb. I mean, it may look like an insurmountable lead, but it's League of Legends. Until your Nexus falls, you're really not out of it. I mean, the only way the game ends is if one Nexus falls, and maybe Espionage could pull off a miracle.
And there you have it, folks. As you can see on your screen, the players just waiting for the call from our marshals there, making sure everything is good on there. And of course, we are here live at the Green office right now, where both teams are decked out in full Lenovo Legion. Pretty nifty.
Yeah.
I mean,
those headsets look nice.
I mean, man, I'd love to get my hands on those for streaming, but yeah, but I have the laptop though, at least. Same laptop as we have here. Wi-Fi 20. Good choice, good choice.
It's been serving you well.
Yeah, I mean,
Very happy with it.
Yeah, you've seen in the office. Like, I always have it with me, not just the laptop, but the bag as well. Served me well, man. Thank you, Legion. But I mean, let's go ahead and talk about this game a little bit more. I mean, like, from what you've been seeing here, who do you feel has been the key player for Red Light to just spearhead the lead that they have now, the massive lead, in fact?
I mean, we've seen a lot of dazzling plays coming from the bot lane, but as far as highlights go, I really want to say that it's the entire team of Red Light just playing extremely well across the board. They're just playing such textbook League of Legends, really great show of macro, the communication, the shot calling, very on point for their side, whereas for Espionage, I wonder, how can they bounce back?
It's so tricky, but now that I think about it, I mean, even when it comes down, like the question I asked, I think I'd have to agree to sharing that sentiment with you, where it's just the entire team working their magic. I mean, even with the Jace falling behind, still, like, that didn't deter them. And if anything, that Baron fight put that Jace back on the map. I mean, forget that 0-3. everybody's working beautifully as a team. And if I have one player that I'd like to come in there, I'm happy to see that I could finally say that a crucial player to why we're seeing a lot of success from Red Light right now in this game is because of the support. I mean, that 3-man stun, I don't think I've ever seen that huge of value through that one stun, getting 3 members of Espionage. So if I had to pick a play of the game, that's my favorite one right there.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Was a very flashy play, I should say. Very, very beautiful to see those really flashy support engages, because supports rarely get the highlight really unless they're...
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, but man, guys, looks like we'll be reaching the conclusion of this match in just a bit, but we'll have to hold you guys off a bit there. A little bit of suspense. So for the meantime, we're going to be taking a quick break while we solve a little bit of the jits that we're trying to resolve on the player end. But of course, once again, we are your casters. I'm Arctic at the service, man. With me is Chiso. This is the Lenovo Legion of Champions, brought to you by Lenovo and Intel. We'll be right back in just a few. Get a snack by, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lenovo Legion of Champions. Of course, once again, this is Game 2 between Red Light and Espionage. Looks like we're going to be seeing a fight
great
there.
Flash.
Cataclysm onto Margaret right there. Cat to deal with 4 members of Espionage, but he actually survives. Manages to take down Hans. Looks like he's going to look for another casualty.
Whoa.
Abangan sa susunod na kabanata ng Legion
Zoom in.
of Champions.
And then just zoom in. Tune in tomorrow night. Pero, yeah, I do believe we will just have a slight pause. We'll be getting back very soon.
But great outplay from Margaret, though.
He's still outplaying them. He hasn't died yet. He's in the midst of a great outplay.
Yeah.
You can't say it in past tense. He's still
right.
outplaying them.
Correct. I apologize right there. But, man, considering that he was already dealing with 3 members, still manages to take down Hunt and still lives to tell the tale. Still will continue to live to tell the tale as we see another fight. That will be the stun onto Sunzi right there. He's going to be chased down by the members of Red Light. Down he goes. Double kill for Margaret. They're not done just yet, though. Might be the next casualty. He's taking so much damage. Clyde manages to take him down. That will be 3 members total of Espionage that are down. This could potentially be the game, though. Baron empowered minion wave along with Red Light. Going to push so hard. Inner turret, down you go. It looks like this is going to be an inhibitor as well.
They're gearing Thailand. They're nearing international competition. They're going to begin knocking on the base of Espionage. And right now, Espionage's lead just looks so insurmountable for them. The members of Red Light are just so absurdly fed. I don't think they can defend this push. This might be the game soon, Arctic.
This could potentially be it indeed. Looks like this might be Espionage's last stand, though. That's going to be a full stun. 2 members are down. That's going to be 3 members. He's trying to walk this out. He's going to be continued to pursue. Double kill for Clyde. Looks like Endless Ace and Hans, the only 2 members that are going to defend. Could they, though? That is the question.
This will be the game.
Red Light, that's 1 turret down. Let's go to see if Nexus turret number 2. It's going to be converged on by Red Light.
And
let's go ahead and see 5 members converging on this Nexus. Endless Ace and Hans. They're trying to defend Endless Ace. You're going to get the full round. Ladies and gentlemen, they're representatives for the Philippines in the Legion of Champions. Congratulations, Red Light. You're heading to Thailand.
Yeah, great stuff there coming from Red Light. Just a very convincing win right there. Under 24 minutes, knocks down the Nexus. Man, what an explosive ending.
Oh man, there you go, ladies and gents. Congratulations right there.
Indeed.
Red Light, after making the trip all the way here to the gig. And
now they're headed to Thailand.
And
just like that.
In a clean sweep, not to mention. It was a very convincing 2-0, definitely. But let's go ahead and talk about that game. What do you think went wrong there for Espionage?
Like I said, one of the key factors would have been the play from their junglers, but looks like the jungler from Red Light, and not just the jungler, I mean the team in general, the teamwork, the communication, the macro, it was very on point. Movements across the map, just setting up play after play after play, which transitioned into all of these objectives going in their favor. And just when the fights happened, they made the clutch plays. These flash 3-man stuns from the Tarek, very huge, using his ultimate to save his teammate. Just those clutch moments just tilted everything in the favor of Red Light, and they come out on top 2-0 over Espionage.
And that was absolutely amazing right there. A great way to conclude the competition. Man, I gotta say, that was quite a convincing victory in the sense that I'm really excited for the Philippines as far as our chances in the actual international stage in Thailand. Once
Yeah, I'll
we
be
do
cheering
that.
for them, definitely.
Without a doubt. But ladies and gentlemen, what a day this has been. Congratulations to the friends and family and fans of Red Light. Straight away from Iloilo and Visayas. I'm pretty sure the team has done Visayas proud, but we have reached the conclusion right there. We have our representatives. Let's go ahead and root them on once they hit the international stage. But for the meantime, we're going to have to say our farewells. For the meantime, we have been your casters. I'm Mark the Getty Sirs, fam. With me is Chiso once again. Let's shout it out. This is the Lenovo Legion of Champions, brought to you by Lenovo and Intel. We'll see you guys again. But for the meantime, adios. Have a good day.
Now, but whoa!
Sunzi does not get to connect on that hook. We'll play
He's very aggressive.
members of Red Light in, though. That's going to be a full stun onto Liana, but Margaret manages to take down Hunt. Looks like the rest of Espionage are going to try to back away. Here comes Skylar, though.
Oh, he
Will try to
survived.
do something. Liana actually manages to survive, though, and looks like we might be seeing more of a fight, though. Good boy gets
What
the
a snipe.
onto Sunzi. That will be Endless Ace, stunning him.
Go down to Jarvan.
Done. That's going to be a lot of damage up to Mako.
He got him.
He goes down. Liana getting the kill. Kyler's going to be the next to pull,
Beat
as
it.
well as stuns. Looks like that will be the full decimation.
Great flash.
Cataclysm onto Margaret right there. Cat to deal with 4 members of
Oh my
Espionage, but he
God.
actually survives. Manages to take down Hunt. Looks like he's going to look for another casualty.
Whoa!
Tail as we see another fight. That will be the stun onto Sunzi right there. You're going to be chased down by the members of Red Light. Down he goes. Double kill for Margaret. They're not done just yet,
Oh,
though.
they're coming
And
for
listen,
Mark.
right to the next casualty. He's taking so much damage. Clyde manages to take him down. That will be 3 members total of Espionage that are
down.
stun. 2
On
members
the
are down. That's going to be 3 members. Is he trying to walk this out? He's going to be continued to pursue. Double kill for Clyde. Looks like Endless Ace and Hunt's the only 2 members that are going to defend. Could they, though? That is the
This will
question.
be the game.
Red Light, that's 1 turret down. Let's go to see if Nexus turret number 2 is going to be converged on
It's
by
just
Red
the
Light.
Nexus between them
Endless
and Thailand.
Ace. Let's go ahead and see 5 members converging on this Nexus. Endless Ace and Hunt. They're trying to defend Endless Ace. They're going to get
That's
the full
it.
round. Ladies and gentlemen, our representatives for the Philippines in the Legion of Champions. Congratulations, Red Light. You're heading to Thailand.
Yeah, great stuff there coming from Red Light.